أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن خير الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدى هدى محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. My dearly respected brothers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has legislated upon His servants a number of actions for them to perform in their life. And actions, my dear brothers, are of two types. There are actions that you perform with your body, which are known as the actions of the limbs. And there are actions which are performed by the heart, which are known as the actions of the heart. And the actions of the heart, my dear brothers, as the scholars of Islam have mentioned, they are the fundamentals of the religion and they are the foundation of Islam. Actions of the heart such as sincerity, actions of the heart such as mahabba, loving Allah Azza wa Jal, such as tawakkul, reliance upon Allah Azza wa Jal, such as hope and fear. These are all actions, worships that are done with the heart. And from the actions of the heart, my dear brothers, which every Muslim is in need in their life, is al-muhasaba, which is taking oneself to account and self-monitoring. Al-muhasaba, my dear brothers, is defined as the person counting and monitoring their sins and their shortcomings. So when you sit down and you reflect over yourself and what you are doing in terms of pleasing Allah or disobeying Allah, this is called muhasaba. And this is a quality of the believers. And Allah Azza wa Jal has commanded muhasaba in the Quran, for every person to always reflect over himself and to see what he is doing for Allah and what he is doing in terms of his ibadah and what he is doing in terms of sin, to reflect over himself in order to fix himself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد. O you who believe, fear Allah and let every soul monitor what it has brought forward for tomorrow, meaning the day of judgment. This is the command of muhasabah. Let every soul monitor what it has brought forward for tomorrow. So the believer reflects over his actions, he reflects over his deeds, and he reflects over his sins in order to try to fix himself and get closer to Allah Azza wa Jal. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said in the hadith that the wise person is the one who calls himself to account and performs noble actions to benefit him after his death. The wise person is the one who holds himself to account. That's the muhasabah. He judges and he monitors himself. And he performs righteous actions which will benefit him in the akhirah. So muhasabah, my dear brothers, taking yourself to account self-monitoring, it brings you many great fruits and it has many great benefits. From the greatest of benefits of you performing this ibadah from your heart is that it lightens your muhasabah in the akhirah. Doing muhasabah of yourself in the dunya will lighten your account, your muhasabah in the akhirah. And that is why Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu gave the golden advice where he said, and what did he say? He said, judge yourselves before you are judged. And weigh your deeds before they are weighed for you. This is an instruction from Amir al-Mu'mineen al-Faruq radiyallahu anhu for us to self-monitor. Judge yourselves before you are judged. And how do I judge myself? I look into my life. What am I doing for Allah? What am I doing to please Allah? How can I improve on my ibadah? Where am I falling short in my ibadah? And to fix it. This is the muhasabah. Also from the fruits of this great action, my dear brothers, is that it allows you to gain guidance. Because guidance is attained through muhasabah. When you monitor your actions, this puts you on the steadfast path of Allah Azza wa Jal. And that's why one of the ulama by the name of Al-Baydawi rahimahullah, he said to gain guidance and remain on guidance is through muhasabah. So muhasabah brings you guidance and it keeps you on guidance. And also from the fruit of muhasabah is that it prevents you from self-amazement. Because self-amazement, my dear brothers, is from the shaitan. Self-amazement is when the person thinks about himself that he is the best and has reached what he needs to reach and achieved what he needs to achieve. This is self-amazement which is from Iblis. But when you monitor yourself for Allah, you realize your shortcomings. You realize that you have work that you need to do on yourself. You realize that there are gaps that need to be filled in your life with your obedience to Allah Azza wa Jal. And that is why one of the Salaf by the name of Muhammad ibn Wasi' rahimahullah, because of his muhasabah of himself and understanding his weakness, he would say that if sins had an aura, no person would be able to sit next to me. And Muhammad ibn Wasi' was one of the great Imams. For these are the scholars of our religion. This is what they taught, my dear brothers. Muhasabah humbles you. Because you start realizing and you truly understand that you are not great. And you are not perfect. You see your own shortcomings and you strive to fix them. This is the fruit of al-muhasabah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين من كل ذنب فاستغفروا إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن سن بسنته وصار على نهجه بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وسلم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد. My dear brothers, muhasabah is not only over our actions which we've done in the past. Muhasabah is even regarding your actions of the future. What you plan on doing, you should reflect and see whether what you want to do is good and beneficial for you or not. And that's why the great Imam al-Hasan al-Basri rahimahullah, he said, may Allah have mercy on a man who stops at his concern. Meaning something concerns him, before he goes ahead with it, he stops and he thinks, is this beneficial If yes, he does it. If not, he abstains from it. This is the fruit of muhasabah. It keeps you upright, my dear brothers. And there's no doubt that there are certain tools that help you in performing this ibadah. From them, first and foremost, is increasing your knowledge of Allah. Because the more you know Allah, the more you would understand why you need to reflect on yourself. Why you need to monitor yourself. When you know that Allah Azza wa Jal is the Lord of the heavens and the earth and everything in between them, and that He is the judge subhanahu wa ta'ala, this will help you in performing this action from the heart. Also, from the tools that help you in muhasabah is to always remind yourself that by doing muhasabah today, it will earn you rest tomorrow. The more you judge yourself in this world, the easier your judgment in the akhirah will be. This is something Allah has promised. And finally, my dear brothers, from the things which assist us in muhasabah of ourselves is to always remember and remind ourselves of the questioning on the Day of Judgment. That every one of us will be standing in front of Allah with no interpreter between us and Him, as the hadith mentioned. And He will question us over our actions. So if we know this reality, my dear brothers, that we will all stand in front of our Rabb subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He will definitely question us over our a'mal, if you always have that on your mind, this will assist you in monitoring your actions in the dunya, because you know that you will be questioned for them in the next life. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us an easy judgment. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the ability to perform righteous deeds which are pleasing to Him. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to protect us from all types of sin and disobedience. We ask Allah to forgive us for our shortcomings. اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات المؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك ربنا قريب مجيب للدعوات ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروا الله العظيم يذكركم واشكروا على نعم يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون.